everybody, how we doing today? Mark Lozano here, another video for Christ Center Capital, talking about our weekly picks. For those who don't know, Christ Center Capital, we are the stock picking investment analysis website for Christians. We are not financial advisors or financial planners, but we are talking about the assets that the market is recommending at any given point in time and talking about more specifically the morality behind those assets. Usually this video consists of our 3 picks, give or take, usually give a couple more picks that we talk about. Those assets that make it into our report every single week are what the market is recommending and what we have put through our moral screening process here at Christ Center Capital. Though, given the current situation in the market and just kind of things not performing well, we're not having a lot of assets make it into our curation report that we feel comfortable putting onto our site and actually even giving, not that we really recommend anything because we're really just giving our opinions on stuff, but like we don't even feel comfortable giving our opinions because we know that certain people do read what we have to say, and a lot of times people take that and put it into practice. So we didn't really feel comfortable putting anything into a report of new assets. But what we did want to do is, if you were just starting out, if you're an investor that is just starting out today, and you're a Christian investor and you're like, what do I invest in? How do I get started? Like, what assets should I be picking? What's the general rule of thumb here? We wanted to put together a very, very short list of 10 assets that could get a Christian investor started to where they could feel comfortable. They're not funding the enemy's camp, but they're also looking at assets that have some financial potential. So this list that we're about to talk about, and we'll bring you over to the site in a minute, the list that we're about to talk about is chiefly concerned with financial potential of certain assets that are not egregiously offensive to the Christian ethic, right? So this isn't about the most ethical assets out there. It is about ethical assets that may not be top tier when it comes to morality, but they do have financial potential. So I hope that makes sense. We'll bring you over to the site here. This is the post. It just went live. We got a potential ROI plus Christian ethics that's what equals this list. So we have 4 criteria that we're talking about when it comes to this list. All right, let me see if I can make this a little bigger for you guys. I know it's hard to see. So we have 4 criteria that we use to make this list. So first one, they must be timely, meaning they have financial potential at the present. All right, that means these assets are being recommended right now by the market. Analysts say they are a buy, and that's our first criteria. Our second one, they must not be funding or supporting anything directly opposed to the Christian ethic. That means these assets have not turned up red flags in our screening process. They may not be perfect, but they're not directly supporting abortion, they're not directly involved in human trafficking or child labor overseas or anything like that. The third criteria, they must be fitting in with a long-term investment portfolio. So not only are these assets that are made it into this list, not just these assets are long-term assets, not just short-term buy and sell and try to get a profit off of, right? Because C3, according to the way that we look at Christian ethics, that's not really a way to invest. We're not day traders or anything like that. The fourth, they must be accessible to the masses, meaning no location or demographic specific assets. We say this might sound weird to people that are new to C3, but the reason we say this is because we believe when you're talking about moral investing, there's a top tier and there's some investments, some assets that are better than others. We say the most ethical way to invest your income is to invest in your community, into local businesses, starting a new business, investing in with partners alongside that are creating a new business, anything like that is investing in the community, that is promoting a business that is for the common good. We believe that to be the most ethical way to invest. Obviously, we didn't include such assets, such things in this list because that is very specific to the individual and the community, right? Goes without saying, please keep in mind that this list is not composed of the most ethical assets C3 has found. It is composed of the best financial assets that are not egregiously offensive to Christian morality. Okay? Alright, so now moving on, we'll go right into the assets. Actually, I'll take you. So I'll just run through them real quick. We got Bitcoin and Ethereum, putting a little crypto in there. Steel Dynamics, steel producer, nutrient, agricultural darling, in phase energy, an innovator in the solar technology space. Chemical Corporation, essentially a nuclear energy company. Golar LNG, a liquefied gas company. We got a couple REITs here for the real estate portion. The BIBL, aka Bible ETF by Inspire Investments, and Sandstorm Gold for our precious metals, Hormel Foods for our consumer goods. So this is a pretty diversified list, even though it's only 10 assets. Now, we always recommend people going at least 25 assets or more and being well diversified across all industries and investment classes and assets. But this is just a very digestible list of 10 assets that we put together that, like I said, have financial potential and are, agreeable to Christian morality. So let's just run through a couple of these. I have a couple of tabs pulled up here. Ethereum, for those who don't know, if you've probably been following the crypto world or if you've been following C3's material, Ethereum is going through a really, really big thing called the merge right now. So the merge is where it's transferring over its kind of like operational systems to so it can be a lot more energy efficient. People have probably heard that one of the downfalls and one of the true like moral downfalls too of cryptocurrencies, it takes a lot of energy to mine. I mean, Bitcoin is it takes more energy to mine Bitcoin than it is for what some countries produce in a year. I think the country's usually given as an example is Sweden or something, but Ethereum's trying to change that, and it's a really big play for crypto right now, and if it doesn't work out, then it might be the end, or at least a really, really long, cold winter, as the investment world would call it. But if it does work out, then you might see a boom in the crypto world, and especially Ethereum. The next one that we had on that list was Steel Dynamics. Steel Dynamics is being recommended quite a bit just because it's raw materials that steel is a necessity for the first world right now and for all parts of the world. Steel Dynamics has made it into our curation report time and time again. They always get positive ratings from the moral perspective, and that's why they're in this list. Nutrien, ticker NTR. This is a asset that is kind of, we call it an agricultural darling. It is an agricultural company that is just working on producing crops and helping it become more efficient and more safe and all that good stuff. I'm not going to go into depth about any of these assets. Put links into the actual post here. You can click on any of these blue links and it'll tell you a little bit more about each asset, and we always encourage you to do your own digging. We had one tab up here for Enphase Energy. Enphase is being recommended at a good clip. It's actually the best performing asset that C3 has given a positive rating to since C3's inception in September of 2021. So not saying that it's going to continue to produce 133% returns, but it's something that's still being recommended. Still has a strong buy rating by most analysts, and it is something that we felt should be included in this very short list of 10. Cameco, this is kind of a favorite of mine. It was one of our first ethical assets that we gave a positive rating to, that made it into our curation reports. Cameco is essentially a nuclear energy company. And for those people who believe in we need clean and efficient and cost-effective energy, I mean, nuclear is really the way to go. And Cameco is just one of the best companies out there that is in that space. Golar LNG, this is a liquefied gas company. You can see a trend here. Obviously, a lot of these companies are dealing with energy, and that's because the world needs energy, and that's what a smart portfolio is about. I mean, go look at Warren Buffett and those kind of investors of the world. They're always investing into those, consumer staples, energy, the things that society always needs, always goes back to. But going back here, so we at C3, and if you're familiar with our work and our content, we are not big fans of REITs or ETFs. Not because they're bad financial assets, usually they're very good financial assets. It's because there's so much included in those ETFs, mutual funds, REITs, that it's almost impossible to know what you're really investing in. And we don't believe in passive investing. We want to know what we're invested in. We want to know where that money's going. We want to know what it's funding and what it's supporting. And with ETFs and such assets, it's very, very hard to find that information. So number 7 and number 8 on this list. Number 7 is about some of the best performing REITs, and I mean best performing not only financially, but they actually do somewhat well in our moral screening process, even though we don't really like to actively talk about them or promote them. And then the best ETF that we've always come across is the BIBL ETF from Inspire Investments. It doesn't seem to have a whole lot of bad, though we believe Inspire Investments talks a little bit more positively about it than it probably should be. Plus, it doesn't really have a lot of the financial draw that some major ETFs like the S&P 500 and everything has. That goes without saying. If you're going to be a Christian investor, it's going to be a tough road compared to a general secular investor that just wants a good ROI, because the Christian investor is not going to get the same ROI that the secular investor gets, because we're weeding out more companies, more assets. We have a slimmer stock to pick from. 9 and 10, these are two kind of basics that should always be kind of in every portfolio, every long-term portfolio. You get your precious metal and sandstorm gold, and then you got your food manufacturer, consumer good producer, and Hormel Foods. So that's our list. Please keep in mind, we are not financial advisors. We are not planners of any sort, or we're not even really stock pickers. We are just taking what the market gives us and putting it through a moral screening process. That is what we're doing in regard to Christian ethics, right? That is the whole thing that we're doing. We're just trying to give you some information so you can go do your own due diligence and research. But we felt that this list of 10 is something that the Christian investor can get behind, and it actually has some financial potential. We hope it has a lot. Time will tell. No one has a crystal ball. We can't predict that. But as always, we encourage you, please remember to spend time in prayer with our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ before making any major financial decisions. Speaking with friends and family is always great too, right? That is the gist, right? Don't take our word for it on anything. Go do your due diligence. Talk to people you trust, spend time in prayer before making any real financial decisions. We're just trying to inform you of kind of the impact that investing has on the world, right? And if you're a Christian investor just starting out, this list is probably as good as any to get started, right? If you really, really care about that impact on the culture and that influence that your dollar has. Anyway, thanks for listening. We always appreciate you watching these videos. I know it's just me rambling and they're not too exciting, but like I said, me, my team, and all the people who care about Christian investing, we appreciate you watching. Please give a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and go check out the website. And go check out the website not only for all the content, but sign up for our newsletter. Our newsletter is probably the best thing that we do here at Christ Center Capital, because it delivers you every single week market information, financial information from a Christian perspective, because a lot of things get skewed out there in the world, and we want to deliver information from a true Christian perspective, because not too many people are delivering financial information from that Christian mindset. Anyway, thanks for listening again. God bless, and see you next time.